Now, there we go. We're live.
Yay! Look at this. We're all live and crazy and
Ooh,
stuff.
piece of candy.
Welcome to the OTL live stream. It will continue to be poorly thought out and insane, as usual, if you've ever seen one of these before. This week we've got Heath B.A. Foley, Patrick Keith, Andrew Mayer, and then Alex and Noah Page will show up at some point whenever they wake up.
I was going to say, it's about time I showed up on this thing. I feel bad I haven't gotten a chance to, but I think this is a most recent development, right? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't had you do anything in a while, so let me just toss some links out onto the Facebooks, and then I will show off that thing that you worked on for us.
Yeah, don't worry about it, that thing.
Yeah, one of those hoo-ha things, yeah.
One of them-
Scribbles, doodles,
One of them dinglehoppers I worked on.
right?
No, those are forks.
It's
I gotta
a
get
fork,
that right.
Yeah.
Oh, forks.
Hey, there's somebody. Is that Alex? Then is it Noah?
That's Noah. Hi,
Hi,
Noah.
Noah.
Oh.
Hi, strangers.
Howdy.
How you doing? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we got a full house this round.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. See, she's doing it right. There's coffee happening.
Yeah, she's the only one who ever actually has coffee, because she just woke up 3 minutes ago.
Hey.
You know,
Girl at 15. Let's be fair.
listen, I woke up 5 minutes before her, so
You slackers. I've been up doing this stuff since 6 o'clock this morning. Ooh,
Yeah.
5 o'clock this morning.
No, you're up a little early.
Oh wow, it's looking really good.
But that means I'll fall asleep on the couch at like 8:30 tonight. So I mean, it's it's a give and take.
it's okay. I was gonna say I didn't get any sleep at all, but I think I had good freaking reason to with the Kickstarter succeeding and all.
Yeah,
yes.
congratulations on
Yes,
funding.
congratulations on that. Very,
There
very
is a-
excited for you.
There is a link in the comments for anybody who hasn't been spammed with Heath's Wander Kickstarter. You should totally check it out and go back it and get the cool little Dragoon, because Dragoon is the awesome one, along with the turtles.
It's amazing.
She is kangarific.
He's kangarific. I figure this is as good a place as any to make the announcement about it too.
Oh yeah, sure. You wanna talk about that, and I'll pull up some stuff.
Sure. So M and I have been friends for a long time, especially in this industry, and I actually got my start with them, and we're going to conventions and together a lot. So we decided to do a very exclusive convention crossover with some of these beginning figures that I've been putting together for Wonder and Endless Fantasy Tactics. So the first one I'll actually have available for sale is Rinoa the Dragoon, which I think M is going to share links and art and whatnot. But what's actually happening is, for convention specifically, we are doing a crossover where you will be able to pick up some delightful Red Panda Miniatures minis from the Wonder line and be able to play them in Endless Fantasy Tactics.
Ooh, how spiffy.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I finally talked you into that.
Yeah, it's.
I really like that mini.
Yeah,
It excites me.
It turned out nicely. Some asshole sculpted it. I don't know who, but
Some no-name.
they keep telling me he's a legend, but
I usually just take the putty and stick it in my mouth to kind of mix it up, and sometimes I'll just put a wad of it on the wire, and it's like, okay, there you go, you're done. So I wish it was that easy.
dude, that Dragoon has been so well received. It is ridiculous, and I'm very happy about that.
I mean, it's a Patrick Keith sculpt. It's a Dragoon. If I've learned anything from doing Endless, it's that Dragoons just sell because people just love Dragoons.
Yeah, all of a sudden make one a kangaroo, and we'll see how that one does. We'll just
Yeah.
add that to the Endless Dragoon line.
Well, I mean, like, even back in Brushfire, the Lancers and Wand were some of our better selling figs. Everybody loved them.
Yeah.
I wonder
Hey.
why that is. If it's because like they're sort of just dragoons and lancers in general. Like they have the power of like the fighter, but then they're also very agile. It's like the Dragon Ball Z factor of like I'm super fast, but I'm also super strong.
Well, I
It's
think
very,
there's also
versatile. Yeah.
there's also that factor too, like Noah in your design that you did for EFT, where it's kind of almost a mixture between a warrior and a ballet dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very swan-like. Yeah.
There's something elegant about
as,
something.
as a matter of fact, speaking of that, I have that right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently,
Some dumbass broke it.
So yeah, I patched her up and I guess glued the horns and the wings and stuff back on her helmet and all that kind of thing.
Gosh,
So, yeah,
so
she'll be coming back to you with this other batch of stuff that I'm working on. So
Always good to hear.
yeah, that was another fun design to do. I enjoyed sculpting that.
Yeah, I really like that too. It came out fantastic. It's easily one of my favorite designs from both just from the original concepts that you did, Noah, and then just overall so far. Sorry, Heath. It's one of our best designs.
Hey, don't worry about it. I've always told you if you can get someone that can do a design for you guys better than I can, do it. And that's exactly what you guys did. I also did get a little busy there for a while, and
just a little bit.
And Noah picked up that torch incredibly well, so I couldn't have been happier for you guys. So good job, Noah. You've been doing awesome.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's the only design I've been able to do where I love ballet. I love it. I think it's beautiful. Swan Lake is one of my favorite productions, and just like I really geek out over that kind of stuff. And I almost never get to incorporate it into my art. So that was just like an opportunity, and I'm like, yes, take it. And I wonder if the design came out better for it, just because I was like excited at the possibility of that.
Yeah, anything that you normally do that's creative that you put your own interest into, it's always going to come out better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I was working on the I forgot the name. That's how tired I am. When I was working on Wonder Stuff, obviously I loved all those designs, but second I showed Patrick Heath that Dragoon, he was like, "Oh, this looks really cool. I want to work on this." And I was like,
my first question was, has somebody already sculpted that yet?
yeah, so immediately I was like, another artist is excited about something I'm working on. I need to put this in his hands and just let him do it. And that's exactly what happened, and it turned out awesome.
Well, I mean, that's something I've definitely said a number of times whenever people ask about getting minis done is, make sure that you're getting a sculptor who really wants to do what he's doing. Because, like, no offense, Pat, but I know you'll sculpt whatever the hell I throw at you. But
Yeah,
if it's
'cause I'm a
something that you
sculptor.
really
It's
enjoy,
like, it's
going to come out so much better.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, because if I look at the art and go like, oh, that's an awesome design, or it's an exciting pose, even if the design or the character's like, I don't really care about that. If it's an exciting pose, it's like, ooh, can I really put the dynamic movement into it, in three-dimensional space, even if it's a thing that's like, well, I don't really want to sculpt that, but I want to see if I can pull off something, in it. Can I do the drapery, or can I do the pose, or I'll find something on it that's like it's really challenging for me. That's like, ooh, that's what I really want to do. So there's always going to be something, that I'll want to do in it. But I mean, basically, it's I like the possibility or the process of taking a two-dimensional piece of art, and then translating that back into a 3D space and seeing, and being able to turn it around and look at it, from all angles to make sure that, it's just as interesting looking at it from any angle as it is looking at it from the art. That's always the most fun for me.
I hope you realize, Pat, that you're basically like a wizard in my mind.
Absolutely.
And, like, I mean, any really talented sculptor that's been at it for a while are generally like wizards. And if this were the medieval times, I'd find a way to burn you alive at the stake because I don't trust your sorcerer ways.
Right. Well, I looked up, on Facebook they have that, like, what is your ancient occupation, right? You do like the little quiz. And my ancient occupation is idolater. right? Because what I would do is I would make the little stone idols, for primitive societies, for people to worship and stuff like that. And that's essentially what miniatures are. It's like when you sculpt a little thing in 3 dimensions and put it on Facebook and it gets all these likes or whatever, it's like, oh, look, there are all my worshipers worshiping at the altar of the sculpt, So it's exactly that kind of, pagan sort of dynamic happening. So if ISIS took over, I would be the first one against the wall, So
all those pagan mini. You've been sculpting some pagan gods here for a very long time.
For a long time, yeah.
That's an amazing way to look at it. I love that. And that's exactly how these minis are received in the industry sometimes.
Yeah.
The second I put up that Dragoon sculpt of yours, people are like, must have! And it's like, okay. The Cult of Wonder. I'm going to have it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a moment to talk about the other thing that I have for Gen Con from Heath this year.
The other thing.
So I posted this little image up yesterday on the Facebook group about a new Endless character coming out. Well, it's not really new. It's somebody that we've seen before in Brushfire, but he's got a whole new look to him now, thanks to Heath.
Yay!
So
Cool.
So Tamatama is going to be making the jump from Brushfire over to EFT.
Nice. Wow, that is really cool.
Yeah, this was a model that was sculpted by Bob Naismith a couple of years ago, and it came out really well. It's one of my favorite Brushfire figures. I'm really happy to bring it back to have it in EFT. So he'll have a proper stat card and everything, and he'll be available at Gen Con.
Nice.
I'll say this, as far as working on that piece, it's really, really, really interesting / funny when you've drawn something literally years and years ago, it feels like.
Yeah, how many years ago did you draw that?
I think it was, I've been at this for about 6 years now, and I think that was about 4 years ago. Because that was before any EFT nonsense. That was before then.
That was
yeah, that was a while ago. And
back before I started painting.
I feel old now, which is saying something because I went on a date with a 24-year-old, and I'm turning 30 in July, or 30 on the 14th. So that made me feel old. That design, it started out as it was just a rough pencil sketch that I remember kind of doing on the fly for you guys, and getting a chance to come back and actually color it proper. It was actually kind of interesting because I was like, oh my god, my pencil line work was terrible. But luckily my coloring skills have gotten so good recently that I could actually make up for some of those downfalls I used to have, like not closing my lines.
Yeah, I know. I colored your art for all those years.
Oh my
not closing
god!
Your friggin' lines.
How many designs did I leave with open lines?
Yeah.
Now it's like a cardinal sin to me. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah. So that's one of my chief complaints about that type of thing is no closed loops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I didn't do that with that mech design I did for you recently, Pat.
No, it was totally enclosed. All I had to do was hit the magic wand and cut it out and paste it in the thing, so it worked great. Yeah.
Thank Jesus.
So Heath, you've been at this for 6 years now. Next month, OTL turns 9.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wow.
You know, you have to put out something special for the 10th
birthday.
OTL anniversary.
I do. I got to figure that out.
I'm trying to think of what you could do. You have a lot of options. You're also going out with some cool stuff soon too, so.
Yeah, I'm glad that we finally got the Geo Toppers coming out. I'm really excited to have those available. Make the boards look a little bit nicer. But we've seen some really nice decorating and whatnot. And I can't think words today of the
English.
basic boards before. Like Ray Richer over on the Endless group did a fantastic job flocking and basing all his geomancers. But I think this will just end up improving it a great deal. And then we got another thing I can't talk about that we should hopefully be able to talk about in October. That will be really fun.
I feel like when you work in this industry, there's a certain degree of spy work that you do. Like if you actually talk about it, it's like I have to kill. Like a dart's gonna hit you in the neck, and you're just gonna die. Like I signed so many non-disclosure agreements. It's ridiculous. Like some of the stuff I was working on for Ninja Division, I can't show freaking anyone. It's driving me freaking crazy.
And you know what's funny about it? Here's what I've learned after being in the industry for such a long time. There's all this non-disclosure, new secret, and winky winky and all that business. And what's funny is that everybody wants to make their own shit, right? So even if you published online, it's like, here's what we're going to do. Here's a picture of it. Here's the thing that's coming out. We're working on it. It's not going to be for like 3 months or whatever. Nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to take that because they're all going to look at that and go like, oh, wow, that's really cool that they're going to put that out. But I'm too busy making my own stuff.
Yeah.
So I've found that there is very, very little, corporate espionage going on, among game companies. And it's all such a little small sandbox anyway. You can't ever really get away with it because it's like just as soon as you put something out there, somebody on a forum or a Facebook group or something is going to go like, oh, they just did that. That came out like, they just showed a picture of that 3 months ago. Here it is. So you can't really ever rip anybody else off because it's like the fan base will just crucify you.
Yeah. It's bad practice. And everyone in the industry knows this well, but if you don't and you are outside of it and you are a consumer of the goods, which God bless you, you keep the gears running.
Thank you.
This industry is like a big family.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people know each other. If
Except
you work
for
for one
you.
company,
You don't know anybody.
I don't know who the hell anyone is. A lot of people know each other. It's like a big family. If you work for one company, then there's a good chance you can get passed on to another company. And it's just awesome stuff. But if you are an asshole, guess what? You are going to get destroyed, and no one will like you at all.
That will follow you forever.
Just a little ridiculous. And it takes 1 second. You could just be like, he did a bad deal and he didn't get paid for this thing. And then you're just like, garbage forever.
I think for me, a lot of the NDA, because a lot of my stuff isn't really NDA. It's just, hey, don't talk about this yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is just that I don't want to say, hey, in October we're doing this, and then October rolls around, we've had some issues or something, and then all I got is bitchy emails about why isn't this out now?
That's the thing. It's just like you don't want to jump the gun and put the expectations out there, and then have people like, I thought you said this thing was coming out. It's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, like Nordic Task Force Vikinger was going to be the third OTL game before Endless. Endless wasn't even going to be a thing at that point. And then we had a whole bunch of stuff fall through after we announced that we were doing a crazy-ass Viking Sentai game. So that was fun. But hey, now they're finally getting models.
I'm just getting started on that kind of stuff myself. With all these designs I produce for Wonder, I've already got people that are like, but you showed off this design earlier and it's not in that stretch goal graphic you just put out. I'm like, I'm sorry. I've got 17 designs lined up that I can't show off yet because I'm excited.
Yeah.
And maybe the one you like the mostest will actually show us. Part of me wants to tell people, just back it at the $2,000 goal, and I will make any mini you freaking want.
Mm-hmm.
I will gladly draw the most ridiculous. I will gladly put an orca on land.
Oh God, I want to see that now.
Dude, I will draw a land orca. Don't think I won't. Or I'll put a Crusader armor.
I want to say Maelstrom Games or whatever their
Yeah.
They do like a land orca monster.
I saw that. It's awesome looking. I mean, it's a giant model.
Yeah.
But I think I shared it to Vicky or whatever a few weeks ago. It was amazing looking. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it was like a crazy ass Aragon Marks design, and it's just like amazingly looking, huge, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And they did a humpback whale version or whatever. I saw art or something for it. Anyway, there was too much cool stuff to look at.
Oh man, I remember when. Oh god, what was the name of that movie? It was a kaiju movie that was all from like shaky first-person point. Project Cloverfield. I remember when Cloverfield came out, I was super hyped about it because I love kaiju. Shocker, I worked on a kaiju game. And one of the things I loved the most was seeing the concept art for unreleased monster designs that they had put out. And they came up with that giant, goofy, like air bladder breathing weirdo, which that monster reveal was the most dissatisfying nonsense ever. Of this big, gangly, like that's in my mind. They give it a ridiculous voice because it doesn't look right. And in the concept art, they showed like it's supposed to be an alien from outer space, but they showed another piece where it was an idea where the monster was a mutated humpback whale that grew like legs and had 6 swimming fins and was walking not really upright but at an angle.
Ooh.
And it had these like things that dropped off of it that were barnacles that turned into these like weird deadly alien crab monsters, and I was like, that is the coolest concept ever, but it's also insane, and there's no way in hell they'll actually allow this. As an artist, it made me very sad, but not every design that we come up with gets out there.
I remember seeing those
And I just
concepts.
crashed.
Oh, you crashed? No.
So that's fun.
Double on the lamb. What's up?
I think the duplicate will go away at some point. In theory.
Clone M.
Yeah.
That happened to me when I joined one of the hobby hangouts the other day.
Yeah, I just was trying to post an image on the Facebook group, and then it's just like, nope, crash.
Nope, unacceptable. Don't do it.
Can't show off Tama to people. No, that'd be bad.
You can always do it after the podcast. So there's plenty of time. Sorry, I'm very goose fraba and chill after the Kickstarter funded. I'm like, there's time to do anything, man. It's all good. Groovy. I wasn't yesterday.
It crashed again too. Or is in the process of crashing.
Okay, one of your windows went down. You're fine. Or maybe not?
And
Wait.
I can still hear you all.
Okay, you're still with us, kind of. Although you may be delayed a bit.
Yeah, I actually can't see anything because Task Manager just... give me a sec, I'll be back.
Hey. By the way, that is a awesome looking mini you're painting there, my friend.
Why, thank you.
Is that their first initial resin copy of that sucker, or is that the new one that Mr. Keith edited for him without the ridiculous teeth?
This one has small teeth. I would imagine this is the second one because they're not super ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first version of it had the teeth were like they were little pointy spikes that had like if resin not resin but if the silicone had gotten in behind the teeth it would have pulled. I think it pulled them all out. So what I had to do was go in and kind of rebuild the structure of it to where there was like a backfill behind the teeth so that the resin or the when it was demolded it wouldn't pull the dental.
Well, this one definitely has freestanding teeth. I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
I'm back. What am I
Hey,
asking?
the devil.
hey, yeah.
New version Behemoth? Old version Behemoth?
No,
What
that
is?
was the old one because I gave it to you at Adepticon, which is also where Patrick fixed the behemoth.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's the original version.
So-
Okay.
Solution solved.
That's the one where I ripped out all the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that moment with the minis I've worked on, and
No,
it sounds a bit
No.
horrifying.
no. Hopefully we will head that off.
Yeah, luckily Patrick and I have been working very closely together on the 3D sculpts that I got done, and the traditional sculpt I got of the Dragoon. So they
They're
should
very-
be good for casting. They
They're
should be
very
good.
castable. Yeah.
I'm very happy with it. I just like literally, there's only one I'm worried about, and that was Tank. He's got so many bits. That dude is covered in spikes.
Yeah, I think it should be fine. I think it shouldn't give you any problem.
Oh.
Look at your masters really close whenever you get your castings back.
Mhm.
And check that to make sure that there's not like mold lines type of. I mean, you're going to get mold lines and flash and stuff on it just because they're first spins.
Yeah.
But check it to make sure that it's that there's not tear out or whatever, like something's catching or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
Send me pictures of it if you want
Okay.
to, and
We'll see. Hopefully,
We'll see.
the main one they've got right now is Reyna, so I don't think she. I'm pretty sure she's going to be pretty good as far as casting wise.
I'm hoping that's going to go, and it's good that you're going to run a resin backup of that for them to run so that the sculpt comes out intact. So it's just it's an insurance safety feature that it's like, well, hey, if I ever have to go back and have this remastered or whatever, then I'll
Yeah.
have to-
That's been the interesting thing about working with 3D sculpted minis is
Uh-huh.
that I have a 3D printer now. I have a reliable source to get them printed at.
Yeah.
But there's also the money that you got to pay on top of getting the actual sculpt done,
Right. It's an additional cost.
which is not something I predicted, and it's cost about twice as much as I expected it to.
Yeah.
Especially, it doesn't help when you're ordering 2 copies to get one to your mini painter and then one to a caster, and it's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. You want to print that at high resolution once, right? And then what you want to do is when you do your resin intermediates, you wind up getting a couple of paint masters of the resin copies. Then those will go to paint, and then those other resin masters will go to production molds.
Oh,
So-
agreed.
Yeah.
In the future, that is
You get a print, you send it to me, I get your resins,
Yeah,
you send
yeah.
those off to whoever else.
Right.
Send it to me because
Yeah,
shut up,
you-
I want minis.
Yeah, there should be a paint master, that goes, and I mean that's the ideal, pipeline for it. But
Oh, yeah.
But
Agreed.
you
It's just the only reason I did it this way is because I was balls
Schedule.
deep in a Kickstarter,
Yep.
and I kind of needed things to post because
Yeah.
oh my god, I realized I have crap ton of designs I've done, but I don't have anything I can actually post. Like I can't share things because they're stretch goals. Or by the
Yeah.
way, dude, you guys have run Kickstarters as well. How many times have people gotten confused as to how stretch goals work?
Like
Every
at
time.
least,
Never?
yeah, always.
Yeah.
Well, Al, you guys didn't really do stretch goals for your stuff, did you?
We did. We did the metallic gold ink on the cards, and also the fact that we would be printing little books with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't run into really any confusion with that, but we've only done the one Kickstarter, and it was a very simple format, just one product.
Well, with minis Kickstarters, we always seem to get the, why don't you just add those stretch goal options as things we could purchase now? Like,
No, that's not how it works.
That's why they're stretch goals.
I have gotten that question 3 times in the past 2 days of like, hey, why don't you just add the stretch goals to the add-on section? And I'm like, you understand how this works, right? I literally had to tell them, like, I am doing this Kickstarter to fund getting these models created, thus making them add-ons is a threat because I may not get the funds to actually get these things.
Right.
Yeah. Well, now
Yeah,
there's
it's not a store.
Well, are they asking, hey, can you add them to the add-on section and show them locked or something? I mean, are they just wanting like a concise graphic of like, well, here's what you can get and then here's what's coming? Or
Oh no. It's purely innocent of wanting to see the designs,
Okay.
A, and B, trying to find an extra way to get more funding into the campaign. So I understood what the backers were trying to say, but at the same time, I was like, doing that will literally be shooting myself in the foot.
That's going to tank your funding.
And honestly, it may have been a way to get an extra couple $100, but it wouldn't have been enough to actually take care of the sculpt itself. So
Yeah.
I'm still riding the rails of doing this the old-fashioned way of give me money and I'll give you stuff. So we'll see if that works out. I don't know, man. I'm just excited because we crossed the goal and we're going into the last 5 days in a position of power. It was good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I really hope you get at least one of your stretch goals done.
Dream situation is get a crap ton. Realistic dream situation is get 3. In all reality, we'll probably get 1 or 2.
Well, you can pretty much bank on about 30% of your total take on it is going to occur in the last 48 hours.
Sorry.
When the notification goes out, they'll come back and check the project and say, oh, look, it's funded, and look, there's a stretch goal that's almost done. And,
and that weird psychology of the Kickstarter has succeeded, thus I will throw money at it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
People
little.
want to back a winner.
Yeah. Listen, I'm on board. I will fully back a winner every time. Screw the underdog. Go Iceland, not the Mighty Ducks. No, it's been an interesting learning experience, just seeing the kind of questions I get about these things. One guy on Facebook, and again, I'm not trying to make fun of these people in the slightest. It's just it's interesting the amount of confusion you get.
Yeah.
And how I went into this thing a little unconfident. Like, I figured it may or may not fund. I was prepared for both scenarios, but I've been getting questions. It's made me realize, like, I knew exactly what I was doing with this, because I had one guy ask me, like, why isn't there a $150 backer level? I was like, because there isn't material to justify a $150 level.
Yeah.
If you want to throw $150 at me, I'll gladly take it, and we could work something out.
Right.
But I don't. I have one set to where you get a bunch of minis, and I get another set where you get a painted mini, and there's no in between. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, the thing about it is right now, it's that isn't your main I guess your $50 level what it's called the
Wanderer level.
Yeah, well, okay, there you go. Now that makes sense. Isn't that like you can pick any 5 minis that you want, or you have to get the 5 minis that you're showing?
At this point,
so like if I wanted 2 tanks, like if I backed it at the $50 level and I wanted like 2 tanks and that kind of thing, then is that what you're offering, or is it like it's a lockdown set type of deal?
The original intention was to basically get 5 of any of the base gold minis you want.
Okay, right. So then you can pick and choose, sort of thing.
And then from that point on, any stretch goals are automatically added. Because I figure it's a small campaign. I doubt it's going to go into the stratosphere, so financially it's not going to wreck me to include some extra additional minis on top of what people are already getting.
Yeah, but then you could take into account that it's like, okay, so if I've got 5 minis for $50, then I could actually, once I unlocked 2 or 3 minis, I could probably put out a higher level tier and add it on. That's like, well, now you can get 7 choices or 8 choices. Once you have enough. That's exactly the thing that we ran into on the first Babes project, because like when we first did that, I had like 3 miniatures that I was offering, and like the limited melee thing, And then, the backers were coming and looking at it, and they were like, well, why would I want to back this for, like, the $75 level when you've only got 3 minis that you're, showing? And it's like, well, because eventually, we're open to have, other choices and stuff. So we wound up having to restructure a bunch of that, later on. And it wasn't until we started, fulfilling our stuff through our web store that allowed us to actually offer choices on the bomb kit level, because if you've got 500 backers and they're all picking different stuff, they've got a la carte. You're pulling. There's only one person doing this, and it's Vicky, and she's like, well, now I've got to do 500 custom orders. I can't just like pre-package the bomb kit, with like all of these, like it's a set. I can't do that because everybody's going to pick something different. So it just depends on how what your delivery method is going to be, whether you can actually offer custom selections on that level.
Well, yeah, I feel like when you're at Bombshell Babes levels of success with Kickstarter, doing a couple hundred or 1,000, I can't remember how it turned out.
Yeah.
But doing a couple 100 custom orders, that's going to break you.
Yeah.
I've got a little over 100 backers right now.
Yeah.
The idea of doing a little over 100 custom orders, that doesn't faze me. I'm not terrified by that.
Right.
So I'll be okay for this round, but I think in the future I'm just going to make it just a bundle deal.
Yeah.
That these 5 in this base goal are what you get if you back it at this level, and if you want them individually, great. Here they are as add-ons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, add-ons too. What the hell? Sorry, I feel like I'm hijacking this to talk Kickstarter nonsense. But no, it's funny. I've been getting so many interesting questions. Like, I had one guy be like, "There's not an add-on level to your section." And I was like, "There is. It's right there. It's a $1 one. Then you just pick your add-ons and you add that number to your pledge." Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm like, did you? You got these 2 optical orb thingamabobs in your face called eyeballs, and you use them to look at those reedy words, and then you go over it. That's okay. It's okay. Listen, if you're willing to give me money for things, I'm happy to answer their questions.
Well, speaking of Kickstarter backers and so forth, I wanted to specifically apologize officially to all of the EFT backers that have backed on the current project, particularly because I am so friggin' late on getting the 8 miniatures that I was contracted in order to sculpt a year ago, and they should have been done, quite a while back. I don't have like I'm not going to come to the backers with this life story that's like, oh, well, life happens sometimes. And, oh, well, my water heater blew up and my studio is flooded. And I mean, nothing like that happened. It's completely just, mismanagement of time and, being overbooked with, like, multiple Kickstarter projects from, like, lots and lots of clients and lots of revision work. And I just, hadn't been able to juggle all of it. And so I felt, all I can do is offer an apology and say, I'm working on the stuff now. We're going to try to get it to you ASAP. I wish that I had been able to have it to Emily and Matt in time, in order to make, a Gen Con release and everything. But it's just that it wasn't, in alignment of the stars and all that sort of thing. So, but I am currently working on it, and we're going to try to get that wrapped up, as soon as possible. So.
Well, you're at least not like just trying to blame everything on the sun told you not to do this Kickstarter.
Yeah. Huh?
And now everybody Googles "sun told me not to do Kickstarter."
Yeah.
Well, it's either the sun tells you not to do it, or it's a yoga retreat.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's like the sun S.
Oh, yeah, tell them that. Yeah. Did you hear what she said?
No.
Tell them what you said.
Oh, they can't hear?
Yeah, they can hear you.
They can hear? Okay. I said we should take him out and kick the shit out.
That's what I've got to deal with around here. Yeah. So
Feel
Feel the love.
feel the love.
Just remember, ReaperCon in October.
Yeah, right. ReaperCon in October.
I see the cast managers on top of it.
Man, it's just like, okay,
See-
first of all, I've got it coming from Facebook and email, and at every turn, it's like, okay, as soon as I post one thing on the internet, it's like, hey, I finished this thing. I get like 4 other things that are like, where's my shit? And it's like, work on it. It's next. It's the next thing. So, and now that I'm doing Critterkins and stuff here, it's like I've got Vicky, like live sitting on my shoulder, like, okay, that's too big, and okay, you need to move that, and this isn't the right pose, and blah blah. So it's like, but it's what I do, So.
Wow.
No, that's why I was happy when I was working with Patrick on that one the first sculpt of our official relationship professionally, and I gave
We're so
him.
cute together.
You know what? We are totes adorbs.
Beautiful babies.
What would be our celebrity relationship name? Peace. We're Peace.
Wow.
Or Hathrick.
Hathrick. Oh, I like Hathrick.
Evil and I'm
Hathrick
on
is
board.
good. I can. We should get matching T-shirts to wear at the convention that says Hathrick on it.
So,
Oh, yeah.
the only thing I just imagined to do is to do a bombshell babe, but also cross it with wonder, and then I realized that's a terrible idea. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
How about I could see doing a counterblast wonder character. I could see doing that in about 5 seconds.
Well, yeah, because we have critter aliens in Counterblast, so yeah, that would be a little bit more. It would fit a little bit better.
I was going to say, I know, I've drawn some of those critter aliens.
Right.
I still got to get you to do the EFT counterblast crossover figs too.
Yeah, I still have that art too in the list of things that that would be fun to work on if I ever get to work on something. So.
Yeah, I only need you to sculpt like another 150 things. Could you get into that already? Come on.
Yeah. You and the 6 other clients that I have with that list. It's only one of me. I'm telling you, they're just one of me. It's No, I really enjoy it, and it's and I appreciate the fact that I'm working at a level that I'm in demand. Basically that's a really cool place to be. So. However, if I get a little sidetracked and stuff, it's a bad thing that if I get late and all that. So try not to do that.
As a fellow freelancer, I know that feel.
Yeah.
Especially when someone's knocking on your door being like, hey, we want you to do art for us. And then I'm like, I'm in the middle of a Kickstarter, so you can't do art for us? I'm like, dude, come on.
Not right now.
Like, I so desperately want to do art for all the people, but at the same time, like, I had to turn away clients to do this Kickstarter, and it hurt.
Yeah.
'Cause I had to do that before for Gods and Monsters, and I lost a lot of work. I lost about half a year's worth of work because of that project.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that again. Well, we'll see. If this board game goes the way I think it's going to go, then we'll see what's up.
Yeah, that'll be the
I
next
enjoy that I just didn't give you a choice at all about doing work. You just was like, no, Heath, I need this Saturday. Just get it done.
You paid me money, and I produced art. That's how it works, and that's what you got.
thing. Yeah.
There's also that whole kind of crossover deal. Like, literally, M was like, okay, I'm sending stuff out to get printed on cards. I need art for it now. I was like, you got the money? Like, I got the money. And I was like, okay, let's do this. It was a nice distraction, too. I needed it. I needed to paint something that wasn't Wonder-related. It was a
It was
blessing.
still an animal character, though.
You know what? It was an already drawn animal character that I had to just color. That is where the advantage lies. Oh, it was fun to color too. It was fun to revisit. I'd be down with coloring some old Brushfire work too if they ever cross back over to DFT.
Yeah, I got two other things, I think. Yeah, I got 2 other things that I'm planning on doing. which I mean, they're going to get done, so I'll go ahead and actually announce them. The Gecko Rider and the Bearded Highlander are both going to come over to EFT at some point. I just don't know exactly when they're going to get molded because I already have a ton of stuff to already mold and Gen Con. That's one thing I've been trying to deal with also though is just it's Gen Con. I can't do other client work really, to for our contract casting and stuff. I need Gen Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the reason, because I'm going to use you guys for resins eventually, and that's the reason I decided for the short term to go get Valiant to do some stuff in pewter, because they're like, well, in resin it would take us like a week to do 30 pieces, where in pewter we can do 100 pieces in a day, and I was like, that's the amount I want.
Mm-hmm.
Produce as many as you can.
It's a different process,
Yeah.
So there's much less of a bottleneck to spin casting than there is for, pressure casting.
Mm-hmm.
We could do 100 in a day. It would just take a lot of build up to be able to get to that point because we got to make all those molds, and then once we have the molds, it's pretty easy to pump them out. The Misty May and the Chibi Dragoon, we've got multiple molds running of that whenever we do it, so they end up casting up much quicker than anything else. So I can easily get 20 of those done in a day.
Sweet.
Just with our regular level. Of course, I have to have the day to do it, which is the whole other problem.
And plus, I think that I don't know what Valiant's setup is. What they're doing as far as their resin production and so forth. Because we contracted for them to do some of our resin pieces, a while back. But I've got to wonder if it's that the resin that they're using it's taken quite a while for it to cure, and
yeah,
if
it wouldn't surprise me if they're using a long cure time resin just so they can use a much bigger pot and put 100 things in there.
Yeah. I mean that would be my thought on it.
All I know is Patrick told me he was singing the praises of their pewter casting, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was really happy with the stuff they did for us.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to go back to doing metals, I would have them do it, which I might end up doing a run of something in metal for ReaperCon because I gotta get 200 of the models of something made up.
Oh man, I'm really hoping I can get a lot of product out by ReaperCon. That'd be sweet.
For the swag thing.
Yeah, because I wasn't gonna make you just do all the swag.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, because thanks. No, because we're coming up with Vicky and I have been talking about it here, what we wanted to send to them to put in the swag bag and everything. And I think what we're going to wind up with is we were going to send them some existing stuff that's maybe we can put this in there and it'd be kind of a nice little advertisement or whatever. But I think what we're going to wind up doing is she designed this little, because it's Halloween and their theme is horror or whatever this is. We're not sending them. Oh no, we're selling those. That's going to be our convention piece that we're selling. What are we putting in the swag things?
I don't know. Maybe the Trixies or.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we are going to put crappy old product or whatever.
You heard it here, folks. Crappy old product from Bombshell Adventures.
No,
Get your cast-offs.
It's not. It's actually it's limited run stuff that is you can't really get it anymore. So it's going to be kind of
exactly limited edition.
Yeah, like a collector's type of thing. So.
Well, I do have one in that litany of stuff I sent you right after Adepticon. There is one small figure that I would kind of like you to sculpt up quickly and be able to do that for ReaperCon.
That could probably happen. At the end of all of things.
Yeah, when you're done with the 20 other things that you're currently doing.
Right.
Now, I'm going to just interrupt this whole conversation because I see Alex with something really cool, and I want to bring attention to that.
Oh, yeah.
The naked Lunarian you have there.
It's really scary right now. It's probably hard to see too because it is made of wire. But guys, want to see something cool?
That's awesome.
Come on.
Oh wow,
Oh, that's exciting.
nice.
That is awesome. So
So
here you
yeah,
go,
so-
folks. For the first time ever, what a Lunarian looks like under their encounter suit.
Yeah, that's it. Just like this.
You know,
Everyone.
being the original guy to design them, I can say 10 out of 10, spot on. That's exactly what they look like under that suit. Nailed it.
Good job, babe.
Thank you.
That is
So
terrific.
these are camping lights that I tore out of the casing, and they have like a high efficiency LED, whatever, and I mounted them in this electrical box with a little hole in there. Oh, you can make flash too. So you can switch them on and off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to construct it so that you can rip off the goggles, turn on the lights, and then put the goggles back on. And hopefully also that means I'll be able to get to them and replace the batteries if the batteries ever need replacement.
Well, Al, the next step is going to be setting up a remote control. So then we can make it blink and whatnot. Put a
I'm an
little
artist,
motor in
not
there, have the
engineer.
eyes turn slightly.
Let's just turn it into the Energizer Bunny. Just hook it up to a wheel and make the feet do like the pitter patter thing, and then just like wheel it around the whole convention. I would
use
literally
that, right?
follow
Or
that
use
thing
that.
around giggling. So when's this thing gonna make its eventual preview? Because it looks awesome. I want to see it.
That's intended for
Oh,
Gen
thank
Con.
you. Well, we're trying for Gen Con.
Well, that is an aggressive schedule. I'm like, I'm literally thinking like, could I design more characters by Gen Con? Probably not. And you're like, oh, I'm making this 3D giant space rabbit. Don't worry about it.
I work in kind of like a high pressure environment, and I thrive on that. So I'm gonna try.
I was gonna say you're working on things in the AM, so I'm already impressed.
Oh, I'm a morning person.
You.
So am I the only morning person here?
No, I'm a morning person.
I have to be a morning person now.
hmm
I hate mornings.
I can be a morning person. It depends on what my regular schedule is, which I usually end up working nights, so I'm not a morning person in that degree, but I can wake up pretty quickly.
I hate the morning time, and I think it's the worst thing ever.
Ban mornings.
I've
Opinion shared by many.
and mornings, and then there'd be all sorts of other drama going along with it. I was gonna say I went on a date with a nurse recently who has to get up at 5 in the morning to go to work, and I was like, no, do not want.
That's a deal breaker.
I've also kind of made my own schedule for 3 years, so mornings don't enter that scene very often.
I used to wake up at 5:45 every day, but now just 6:30. I sleep in.
I say at that point, that's luxurious.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny because I can't see about 75% of the Lunarian, so it looks like you're dealing with this robot that randomly gets excited and starts hopping around.
So what I'm doing right now is, when I made this, the feet were shaped a little bit differently, and so I'm kind of trying to make a flat surface. I'm planning on having the feet bolted to the platform just to give it some extra stability. So we've got like a triad of support. This rod will go up the body, and then bolt to bolt, so it'll be nice and steady. So that's why its feet look all funky right now. And it's kind of hard to envision what's going to happen is I'm going to add some more wire to bulk out the skeleton, and then I will be stuffing it with some fleece scraps to give it form and body, and then I'll be clothing those scraps. So it'll look good. It just looks better.
Sweet.
What are you going to wind up surfacing that with after you get the armature built?
Well, I've got some of my leather right here. So I've got this nice gray that will be like the majority of the body, probably covering the ears, the legs, and the gloves. And then I've got some like really nice pebbly goat skin for kind of the riblets bit on the outside. And then there's a tunic. And I haven't decided, well, okay, I have decided what color I want to do it, but I haven't asked our fearless leader if that would be okay.
Fearless leader.
But that's going to be
Okay. So
that's going to be made out of fabric.
It's going to be kind of like a soft sculpture type of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See, now I just imagine him as this Chinese propaganda, like, follow fearless leader into future.
You know, it's not the first time I've been compared to a dictator, so...
Listen, I know that feeling. I get called a monster on a daily basis.
That's me.
You are a monster.
So
I say funny things, and people are like, "You're the worst ever." At least I'm not worse than Hitler. We have
That's the important part.
we were at a convention, and one of the guys that we went with got called. We called him worse than Hitler because he did something that was worse than Hitler in my mind at that moment.
Oh.
That,
I was gonna say I don't know how wild we want these podcasts to get. That may not be a story we should share on here.
probably not. Let's not talk about the incident. I'd rather forget it.
We'll save that for the After Dark episodes.
The dark time, the dark time in the long, long ago.
on the lam after hours.
I was gonna say if it's before 12, probably shouldn't be sharing these terrible
I
stories.
were on the lamp.
Yeah. Well, Emily, where's Matt? He's not sitting in on the.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He doesn't like being.
He doesn't like us.
Yeah, he doesn't like doing this kind of stuff. Like I've tried getting him to come in here, and he shows up every now and then afterwards once we're not live, and we'll like say 2 words to the girls and then just leave. But otherwise, he doesn't like being on camera.
Okay.
Which of course I don't like being on camera either. But there's not much choice. I can't just do this and say, "Hey, you 4, do something."
You monkeys? Yeah.
Dance for me, monkeys.
That's me, like, every time I film a YouTube video, I'm like, ugh.
Okay, every time our
The
friend
OPL
Elizabeth,
cringe cast.
yeah, every time our friend Elizabeth Beckley has a hobby hangout and she records it, we always tend to hop in and say a bunch of ridiculous nonsense. And she's like, "I love it when you guys come on because I can just work and giggle the entire time."
yeah. There's a lot of that.
Although I feel bad because sometimes we make her laugh so hard because she's such an easy target. We make her laugh so hard that it'll like mess up her actual painting routine.
Oh no!
Like she'll start shaking. Like she's recently been working on a mini of mine for the Kickstarter, and like last night I made her laugh so hard. She's like, "Heath, I'm painting. Stop it."
She's frustratingly good.
I freaking agree.
Like I hate how inept I am compared to her. It's awful.
It's time. Literally, Elizabeth is one of these people that she morning, noon, and night she wants to paint. She paints minis professionally all day, and then in her free time she paints minis.
Damn.
Like as a freelance, as an artist, as anything creative. Like I work for 8 to 12 hours a day on art typically, and then I go home and I don't do art because screw that. I'm tired. I only have so many creative juices, and she literally is she's like the Terminator of painting. Well, no, that's
This
James
is
Watt.
like the Terminator.
Knives
of
and stacking
bunnies.
weapons.
That is the Terminator of bunnies. Terminator rabbit hopping in your nightmares.
1000.
So Al, are those arms going to be strong enough to support the mallet?
Well, I'm glad you asked. The arms are going to be reinforced with a couple more hangers. So what I'm working with right here, I think I
Also,
remember what it is.
your tools of just ripping apart hangers. Make this.
I like how she started with nothing and she got to that just in the time we've had this conversation.
No, this is laying on the floor. So this wire is super soft, and these hangers have been like work hardened and molded specifically to hold many pounds of clothing. So they're super strong. What I'm going to do is probably make sure this is 2, maybe 3 strands of this strong hanger wire before I put the hammer into the hands. The hammer's going to be made of PVC pipe and cardboard and foam core. I'm going to do my best to make it sturdy, but I'm going to also do my best to make it as light as possible. So if that doesn't work, I'm going to anchor an elbow right next to the body and do an additional beam out from this side elbow, out from this pole to support it. I don't think it's going to come to that, but that was our plan that Rinoa and I discussed.
Sounds good.
Well, I wish you all the best luck on putting the hammer together because it was a pain in the ass to sculpt. And I'm going to point fingers at the artist because they're present. It's like it may be cool to put little triangular cutouts all over the surface where it's curved, and it may look neat, but actually replicating that is a huge, huge headache. Now, because I said that, it's like I don't want the art to compromise the integrity, of the sculpt. So, design what you're going to design, but just be aware that shit like that makes me mad.
Now, while I have both artists and our best sculptor in here, let me remind you all that thin parts are really annoying to cast. Especially long, thin parts.
What I'm learning is that I need to make a pipe creature.
Not a pipe creature, a wire creature.
A pipe creature.
Yeah.
A pipe wire creature that's made of chains and feathers.
yeah, I'm busy that month.
Oh, that's goodness.
I would be too. I would hate life so much during that whole process. I've been asked to
I'm
design
sorry, and there's a little bit more on here. Whoopsies.
Huh?
Oh, I just cut myself and didn't notice. So.
Oh, okay, that's fine. All of our
Every
miniatures are
craft
made
project
with
has to have
tears,
it.
so there's blood at least at 3 or 4 parts during the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I
It's
feel
a
like he's
necessity.
dead. There's blood on all our hands.
Did you say something, Rinoa?
Yeah, El Capitan. What do you think of this as like a rough 2-page spread of our gel adventurers at the tavern?
I love it.
I think it's looking pretty good. I really wish that I had like some capability of pointing easily at things.
Paint a picture with your words.
Yeah. On page 2, the left gel, which I guess is like the middle bottom gel, just that the way the arm looks there, like it's like more of a full appendage, where it usually should just be more of a just kind of lobe-y thing coming out.
Sure. Let's see.
It's going to be adorable when it's done.
And I'm not really sure the bar winch is busty enough. I mean,
For this industry, nope.
More boobs.
But the general position of the characters and the bar and everything, that's looking good.
Yeah.
Her.
Just imagine that bartender is Major Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh my god! So I was actually thinking I was drawing it. Yeah, actually I was thinking of, do you remember Izumi's husband?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember his name. I was totally thinking of him when I was drawing him.
Yeah. I can already see it just from the angry thing in his eyes and the big broad shoulders. It was like, if that dude doesn't look just like it, I don't know what the hell is happening anymore.
I think he has to be now.
Rinoa, you should totally have like one of them have like a hunk of chicken or something, like a wing, just floating inside of it.
Oh my god, yes. Oh. Yeah,
I love the idea of one just slowly putting a chicken wing into its noggin, and then it's like slowly disintegrating inside of its head.
Well, I mean, they are basically gelatinous cubes.
Oh my god.
That's awesome.
See, I'm full of ideas that I myself would find difficult to actually illustrate.
Actually, like, yeah, right. Kind of.
Well, it's not. It shouldn't be that difficult to illustrate. It's just going to be a pain in the ass when I have Patrick sculpt it.
Yeah, what you're going to wind up getting is like a little bag of parts that you'll need to cast and then suspend in the mold somehow as you pour the clear resin into it. That's how.
Oh my god. The do-it-yourself mini.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll just start selling gel molds.
Right.
Okay. A Jello mold of a gel.
Now,
That sounds like a convention exclusive.
we have joked before about making like chocolate minis and whatnot. And it is I can totally buy the food safe silicone and stuff. There's a whole lot of crap that we got to deal with if we were going to try to sell food.
I didn't think about that. That's true.
And like I would have to have a completely separate process from everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally want to do it.
I'd love to see an EFT game where someone was playing a gel force and literally like you bump the table and they all just like blah, 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 blah.
I have also
I have a
experimented
goal now.
with different materials in trying to get that to work.
Oh,
Because we have, like, somewhere in Matt's office, we have an Earth Troll where we got the mixture wrong, and it is like Stretch Armstrong-y. Like it's kind of like a squeeze toy. You can squeeze it, and it deforms a bit in your hands and everything. And I would love to try to figure out how to get that to an actual process to be able to do the gels in that sort of way.
Well, I would think that you would want to cast them in silicone, instead of casting them in resin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like you would have a different mold material, and then just pour them in silicone, and then they would be, malleable or whatever. So, but then, in order to paint them,
You're never
what's funny about that is I just looked all this stuff up on the internet because I was looking at making latex or silicone molding methods, but you have to get like this special alcohol-based paint in order to paint on silicone and all this because the prosthetics industry uses it, for like movie makeup effects and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, I wouldn't want my hobbyists to have to go out and buy a certain special paint thing, whatever to paint on them and stuff. But yeah, making little silicone gel guys would be awesome, particularly if there's like little food bits, like.
I could just see making like a chicken leg and just in the middle of the molding process just kind of gently jam it into its face. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. I'd love to see it. I think that's the beauty of the gels, is they're so silly.
Yeah.
Well, when we figure out a proper way of doing silicone molding, I'm going to have to make like a life-size gel to go with the Lunarian.
I hope you know my number 1 goal at that convention is just to be to slap it.
Slap a gel.
Literally hit it once in a slow motion video because the sound would be so satisfying.
Is that what the kids are calling it nowadays? Slapping the gel? Is that what
Now-
it is?
Slap of the gel.
Now, do we make it just out of regular silicone? Do we make it out of ballistic gel? Or do we make it out of, like, the stuff that boobs are made out of?
Ballistic gel, period. Make it as close to flesh as possible. I want the satisfaction of slapping something hard as shit. Can you imagine having that at a convention? You would literally never be stressed out. You just pow! I'll show you what a $150 backer level looks like.
That's amazing.
Oh.
I should
that's-
ask about
that's
the
so
Olympics
wrong.
one more time.
Oh my gosh. And it's all recorded for posterity.
Oh my. Oh my.
We need evidence of Heath being ridiculous. Andrew, you're working on the Knight, right?
This is Batsu,
Ah,
the variant knight, and I have him in original and lemon flavor.
Helmeted and helmetless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hard candy and not quite as hard.
oh, that's
Wow.
fancy.
I should probably get you to do a night at some point, Heath, since I've gotten Noah to do both the other ones.
Yeah, I saw I saw Patrick's female Dark Dragoon ult and
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
It's so cool.
Sorry, there's a lot of characters, and I have a little bit of a hard time remembering which ones.
Yeah, you're the one who did the Dark Dragoon.
I know, and I did the Dark Knight,
Yeah.
not the female Dark Knight.
No.
But
So
no,
you
I
gotta
saw
do you'll have to do the female knight, even though you can't draw women.
apparently. According to one backer on a Mantic Kickstarter, that's going to come up in every podcast we ever do together. Am is like, you can't draw women. Of course I can't, according to one dude. I was going to say, I just did a piece for Patrick Heath recently where I'm pretty sure I drew an attractive lady.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
Attractive lady.
Actually, two cuties.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. There's that other piece too.
Yep.
It's all turning into a blur.
It's all merging into.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun when you finally release that second one I worked on into the wild. I'm going to be posting that thing around.
Yeah, it'll be a while.
Yeah, no worries.
We're gonna we were looking at determining whether we were gonna do Counterblast or go on into Babes 3, and just because Babes 3 is a little bit more popular and so forth, and I had all of this awesome art from Chris Walton that I had worked out a deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're gonna go ahead and do Babes 3. That's going to launch September the 19th, actually.
Awesome.
So
Nice.
Well, that'll be freaking fantastic. And I saw some of the stuff you previewed for it. It looks really interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, thanks. He's been posting that for a year or two now, and I think he's got like 20-something designs for like all of those different female, they're fantasy icons is what they are. So it's like he took like whatever the D&D classes are, or Pathfinder or whatever, and like kind of did these whimsical kind of female character designs. Then he's got like a whole folder of nothing but guys, and they're really pretty amazing because they're not very conventional, as far as like what you would think these archetypes would be. They're kind of like, wow, I wouldn't really have thought to do something like that, with it. So, so I found it really interesting, and a lot of the folks that have posted on his little Facebook galleries and stuff, have had a lot of great comments and stuff about him. So, of course, I've worked, from some of his art before because I did a couple of designs. One of probably the most famous one that I did was the Druid Gone Wilder piece, which is kind of the Privateer Press. Convention, one of their convention exclusives, so they put them out like on their website and they sell them at shows, whenever they
That
do.
was one of his?
Yeah. The Druid Gone Wilder, he designed that, and I sculpted that, and so when I saw that he was doing these, these designs on his own or whatever, I messaged him and I said, hey, I want to turn some of these into, babes or whatever. He goes, oh, dude, that would be awesome. So we, kind of worked out a thing on it. So, but then, we've also got some other art and stuff too that we may do as stretch goals and things like that. But
Sweet. Well, if it goes into the stratosphere and you need another artist, don't look at me because apparently I can't draw women.
That's what I hear.
No. I mean, if you ever need someone to draft something in the nth hour, I'm good.
Oh yeah. Well, cool, because you never know when it's gonna wind up being something like that. That was very difficult on our first Beige project because we kind of ran out of art, and it was a real struggle to try to get some designs to be like, okay, well, we've got these ideas, we want to make them. I don't have anybody that can concept them, and I don't do that. I mean, I haven't been kind of out of the 2D art thing for a long time now, and so we've had this conversation before about it's easier for you to do a sketch for a stretch goal and say, hey, here's the concept of a thing that we want to make, and backers will back that. It's like, oh, okay, because here's the stuff that you've already done, and here's the concept of it, and it's like, well, then it should pretty much turn out like that, so you get pretty good idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
With me, this is like, this is my concept art. It's like twisted wire and some goo on there. I mean, nobody's gonna know what that looks like. There's no way to do that.
I mean, at that point, that's when you just start screaming at him, use your imagination, dude. It's cool. This is totally gonna be an intergalactic space rabbit. I know that feeling, Patrick. Actually, the strangest problem I'm running into now is I have so many backlog designs, and I have at least 5 other ideas in the works that I don't see this Kickstarter that I'm running right now possibly crossing through all of these designs.
Yeah.
There's no way. But luckily, I've been, and I'm going to toot my own horn just a little bit here. I've been very.
You never toot your own horn.
You'd be surprised. I toot my
Back
own
in the
horn
gel,
regularly, but that's a whole different thing. No, one of the things I've been doing pretty well on this line is making sure the sculpts look very close to the concept art.
Yeah.
Being pretty adamant about that. And I think it does justice to the line because people are going to see art, and one of the biggest questions I've had is, oh, well, I'd be interested to see if these sculpts look like the art afterwards, because that's one of the biggest problems in our industry is when people see concept art and then they see the sculpt and they're like, what's this garbage?
Yeah.
Right, because they're not just playing with the art, they're playing with the sculpt.
Yeah. That's one of the issues I ran into when I was working with Mantic on Dead Zone, is they were working through a Chinese company and they started to get them to do some sculpts, and the anatomy was wrong and the quality went down, and they were really pissed off about it. So that's why I'm like, I need to make sure these are good. Luckily, because they are so close to model, anytime I produce new art for it, people can be pretty sure that it's going to look just like the actual concept art.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh my god, I want that chameleon bar to be real so bad.
Have you got somebody to sculpt that?
No, I don't have anyone lined up right now. I was kind of hoping. I was like, Mr. Keith, maybe. Your Dragoon was well received. If you don't mind me being ridiculous and anal about certain details, then yeah, I'd love you to get to actually sculpt it.
Well, I can tell you, for a fact that I work with probably the most anal and detailed-oriented clients probably in the industry. Because if you look at my client list, you'll know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Emily.
One of them right there, yeah.
Oh, whatever, Patrick. Just sculpt the damn thing.
Yeah, I don't really think that she's as really, picky about it as like, I just want it. I just want you to finish the thing and send it to me.
Listen, sometimes I can admit with Gen Con coming up and getting things sculpted, there's a certain degree. Like with that Dragoon, I knew it was going to come out in time and it would be fine, but there was a point where I was like, oh, God, I need it.
Yeah.
Now, Heath, I'll be fully honest and say that as I kept seeing more and more progress on that damn Dragoon, I'm like, I want Patrick to just work on my stuff. Stop working on Heath's thing. But I really want Heath's thing.
Well, you got to understand there was a very timely art trade happening with that, and also a lot of begging and pleading. So he was literally throwing me a Hail Mary. So
well, and how it winds up working out is there's this huge juggling process because it's like I sculpt a little bit and then I can only work so much on it, and then it's either got to be baked or I got to put it in the putty oven thing, for it to cure, or whatever it is. So it's like, so I have this little window of like stuff, that I can work on that piece. And then it goes away. And then I have like a whole shelf of like 40 other things that are like, okay, well now I go to the next one in line. And then I cycle through all that until I get back to the first thing again, and it's just in order to make sure everybody gets, something. And what I'm trying to do right now is whittle down that, stack of stuff to where it's like I can turn around, I can get back to turning around a piece, in a few weeks or whatever again. So it's just it's working through that backlog of stuff that I still have. Oh, did I kill everybody?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
no, I'm running on an hour and a half of sleep, so I apologize.
Get good. Come on.
Well, with a Kickstarter succeeding in a really good second date, we can admit to ourselves, if you have a good second date, you're really excited. Typically, it'll kind of get your mind rolling. So that, plus the Kickstarter succeeding, karma has been very kind to me in the past day and a half or so, and so I was sitting up all night like, I know I didn't deserve this. This is awesome. My brain's rolling over all the stretch goals you could possibly reach, and then by the time I look up, I'm like, oh, it's 10. Damn.
I'm predicting you will at least reach the second stretch goal.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
That second stretch goal is going to be, I think it's going to take people by surprise, and they're going to really enjoy it. I hope we get the third one, though. I like, no matter what, I need to make that third one a reality. It is
It
super
depends
cool.
on where you are when you get the Wednesday afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, I didn't think about this too hard, but the thing ends on the 15th, and I realized people get paid in the middle of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a good statistical odd that someone will feel a little flush with their bank account and decide to back for a little bit more. So let's hope. All I need is a couple of $300 backers for those painting pledges. That'd be cool. Get Elizabeth Beckley to paint up minis for you. And you get one free art from Heath B.A. Foley, industry legend, artist to the stars, according to Jason Noble.
Artist who doesn't know the stars.
Artist that is ignorant as shit.
You need to make sure to post that the Reyna card in an update too.
Yeah, I do. I need to get to that. I'm going to post the final art for her on Monday as well. So I'll post. If you can just send me a decent resolution of that card art, I'll throw it up there.
That's tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow?
He said Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'd do that.
So you're talking about it in the third person, man.
I'll figure out when I'm going to take care of it on Friday. And they're like, "Dude, today is Friday." And I'm like, shit.
Heath, it's Saturday.
It's Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It might be.
I don't know.
Nobody must be asking what day it is.
It's all just a blur. It's all just a hurricane of trying to keep updates on this Kickstarter, man. By the way, that whole bell curve of the first 2 days equals the last 2 days, the middle equals half of the first 2 days. That's been an interesting thing to watch in this small Kickstarter, because that has not been the case.
No, yours has been pretty linear.
Yeah.
The beginning was pretty big, and then it's been steady rising the whole
Yeah,
time.
you've been making slow progression.
Well, that's in complete thanks to backers and friends and strangers posting updates and sharing things about what I've been working on. It's been a miracle.
Yeah.
Helped when Patrick Heath was like, "Hey, this Dragoon is up." I got like 3 pledges straight off the bat. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh yeah, people like him."
I don't know that they so much like me as that I just post a lot of stuff.
You do. Actually, it's funny. There was 2 or 3 people that were posting my Kickstarter stuff, and they were just like, "Oh, that looks cool. I'll think about backing it at some point or another. I typically do it later." And then all of a sudden, Patrick posts the Dragoon piece up, and those 3 people are like, "Oh my God, this is a Patrick Keith piece. I want it."
Well, there are people out there who are like, I need to collect every model that this sculptor does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember those diehard fans are interesting. I remember I was at this Cool Mini or Not Expo recently, and literally I was standing next to this kid because I was waiting to play the prototype of the new Bloodborne card game that they're putting out. It's fun, but it's not Bloodborne. Bloodborne needs minis. That's all I know. But I think we'll get to that. But no, I was standing next to this kid, and he was literally like, "Oh, I'm interested in playing Bloodborne." He's like, "Me too. If Eric Lane designed it, I'll buy it." And I was like, "Just blind? Like you don't even know what the game? You don't know if it's a card game or not." He's like, "Doesn't matter. Cool Mini or Not puts out a game. I'll back it." I'm like, "Oh, these are the people I need to tap into."
Yep. Yep.
Blind faith in your product. What?
That said, all right, I have to end this actually. I used to be a fanatic about Squaresoft. Everything they made, pure gold, I would follow it no matter what. And then they betrayed me with Final Fantasy XI, and just from what I wanted,
11 is
not a bad
great.
game, it's just not what I wanted. And then it was like completely dead to me. Like I'm done with this company, and I've just never really been able to get into it since. So I don't know. I think Bloodborne right now, amazing. They're really staying true to like the type of product that they're making, and people can expect like everything that they make is going to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
But all it takes is one shift, and then I think that like those really diehard fans can drop really fast.
Now, Rinoa, these are fighting words, but Final Fantasy XI.
I know. Someone here loves Final Fantasy XI.
We're gonna have a throwdown with Final Fantasy right now.
7 is overrated.
Oh no! Actually, I don't care. I agree.
You
8 is terrible.
8 is terrible. 8
Are we
is-
just saying controversial things to make people angry?
Oh, I genuinely hate
I'm not
8.
sure. I'm not sure if saying 8 is terrible is controversial, but yeah, basically.
You know what? I enjoyed the
yeah.
hell out of 12. Deal with it.
12 was good.
I played it a lot.
6 is second best.
I think I saw the movie
I
once.
love
There is no movie, Patrick.
Which one?
There is no movie.
There is no movie?
Final
Actually,
Fantasy
no. There's
and Final Fantasy.
I saw
Seven
Spirited in
Children.
theaters.
Yeah, wasn't there like a computer animated Final
No,
Fantasy?
that doesn't exist.
Several.
Okay, all right.
Yes, it's called The Spirits Within.
Patrick, that's kind of like the mutated stepchild you keep in the basement that you don't talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like G Savior.
Oh my God, Jesus Savior.
That's a word.
Oh, so good.
I'm with you, Andrew. I was like, yeah, G Savior, that one.
Yeah.
I totally am in the know about that.
Okay, so G Savior is a live-action Gundam film that was filmed in Canada
Oh, eh?
with
Yes.
like a sci-fi TV series budget.
Oh, God.
It
Oh
was
yeah,
so
for
bad.
sure.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring up it was filmed in Canada is because like a bunch of the Ocean Group people actually are in it. So like they were a dub team for a while. They were the first ones who did Dragon Ball Z. They did Gundam Wing and a couple other shows, and like they were really prolific in the late '90s for doing dubs. They also did Beast Wars.
Oh,
Beast Wars.
well.
Transformers Beast Wars?
Yeah.
Oh
Beast
my
Wars.
god. When that show came out, I remember thinking this is the greatest thing ever. And then I watched it again as an adult and I realized, oh my god, this makes my eyes want to bleed. And that freaking rat, like, if it was
It's
possible,
Red.
if it was possible to be racist to New Jersey, that's what that did. It was total, like, I wish there was a word for it.
Racist to New Jersey. You just said it.
Yeah.
Freaking Jerseyist. Like,
But let's be realistic here. Dinobot is the best waifu in Beast Wars.
Dinobot.
So true. So true.
I just like the fact that he's a waifu now. I just imagined him with like blushing cheeks and being like, "Senpai noticed me."
Oh.
But he's a dinosaur robot. I believe that's a miniature that needs to be made.
Dinosaur robot?
Next line, no, waifu, dinosaur robot. Next line of miniatures from Red Panda.
Get on it. I want to see some character art, damn it.
Actually, we've got some fun ideas for some games down the line. One of them was a kind of Smash Bros-esque board game, and like just 4 ridiculous characters that you can brawl with, and that could be one of the designs for funsies.
Oh my god.
I gotta come up with ideas from somewhere. Might as well, like, that'll be like 3 years down the line. Be like, hey, remember that whole like robot dinosaur waifu idea? Let's make that happen. Freaking otaku dinosaur robot. Life is too short to not have that be a real thing.
It sounds like
Patrick's
a million dollar idea.
Patrick's like, what are these nerds talking about?
I don't care. It's like, just send me the art, I'll sculpt it. You pay me. That's all I do.
You heard it here first. He's going to be sculpting it, kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you like 10 designs, see which ones you're really excited about, and put those on your docket.
Okay.
You're like, okay, whatever. Give me the money, I'll give you the Beast Buddy.
Well, I mean, okay, you got to keep in mind that it's like 3 people this week have already sent me emails. It's like, I want you to sculpt this thing, and they've sent me art. And it's like, okay, you know, I mean.
I'll get to you in 2018.
Yeah. So I have to be really picky choosy, like, okay, this and the, you know, this kind of thing. So, and I get inundated with all this stuff, and then I start looking at it and go like, I will never live long enough to sculpt all of these things, and so it starts to becoming, you know, kind of depressing, because it's like I want to sculpt all the things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have to like pick, oh well, I can do this, but I'm not going to have time to do that, you know, kind of thing. It's kind of a bummer sometimes. But yeah, send me the stuff. I will look at it. If you want dinosaur things, I like sculpting that type of stuff.
You do like your raptors.
I do, man. Those are really cool. Ooh, you know what I would really like to do is that series of velociraptors that were done like the Disney princesses.
Oh my god, I would buy all of those.
I would love to sculpt like a whole set of those things.
Patrick,
missed
I would
that.
literally give you $100 out of pocket immediately if you sculpted a bunch of Velociraptor Disney princesses.
I will give you all of Heath's money.
It's just the funniest thing ever, because it's not like Velociraptor Disneyified. It's like a freaking Velociraptor in like a wig and a princess dress.
Velociraptor cosplay.
It's like torn to shit. It's hilarious. It's like Jurassic World minus the story, but then they're just like,
So like
all right,
Jurassic World.
we have this dangerous Velociraptor. What do we do with it? Put it in a dress and a wig. Hank, we need to talk. You're really having some issues here.
We spent so much time trying to figure out if we could do it. We didn't ask, should we?
Brought to you, the Raptors and Dresses, brought to you by Science. Science, we didn't ask why.
See, there's like a whole movement of like bronies, right? That are like they're guys that like the pony things, right? Well, or people or whatever. But I mean, well, okay. So there should be some kind of label, right, for people that like Velociraptor things. Rapties.
Scalies.
Aww. That's cute.
Scalies? That made me uncomfortable.
You're making an animal miniatures game. You're gonna learn all sorts of things.
Dude,
Come on, just look at that turtle.
I've already gotten the emails. You have no idea.
I have a pretty good idea.
Oh yeah, true.
I know I have a good idea.
Like that's the thing is like that's great that you're interested in this, but you need to know I'm not going to put giant heaving breasts on any of my designs.
Right.
Unless it's like for another game, then gladly I'll put giant heaving breasts on this character. That's okay. You're paying me money, right? Yeah, it's going on there. Giant male demon. Oh, heaving breasts. That's cool. We'll make it happen.
There's nothing wrong with Slanesh.
Dude, it would actually sell better too. That's the thing that's kind of wrong.
That's weird.
See, that's what that Lunarian means.
Giant heating breasts.
Giant heaving breasts.
Made of gel.
Dude, slappable. And the conversation comes full circle.
Ah,
I'm telling you, if that actual giant ballistics gel ended up in our booth at some point or another, I would be slapping it. I would probably be hitting it so much my hand would hurt, and other people would get annoyed with me.
Yeah, Heath can't do any art now because he's damaged his hand slapping the gel too
carpal
much.
tunnel.
My hand is like pink and in deep, deep pain, and I'm just sitting there like totally worth it. Slap the shit out of that gel. Yep, I'm that idiot.
Oh, Heath.
You know what I'm actually oddly excited for Gen Con? Minus the actual like having minis there to sell and showing off and stuff.
Yeah, that's
that?
actually...
I ordered shirts and like a sweatshirt for like official Red Panda stuff, and I'm gonna look super official in my own way, and I'm really excited about it.
Aww.
You know what's funny about
Yeah.
that is that, like, you're the only guy at Red Panda, but all of your posts are written in third person. Like, our miniature line and our artist has designed this. And
that
it's
bugs
just
me
like,
so much.
it is so funny to me.
That is a strategic move by me to make
I
people
know.
think that I am a bigger organization than I am.
Right. I mean, I realize it's all the impression. We do that too. Vicky and I, anytime we post stuff, it's all like...
Well, there is at least two of you over there.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. It's like, well, we are a we.
We are a legitimate we.
Yeah, but like, seeing your post knowing that you're just a you, it's like...
It could be the royal we.
Well, let me put it this way.
Look, Patrick, just respect Heath's pronouns, okay?
Listen,
It's Zer.
listen, we appreciate the fact that we think that we are a we. The royal...
We, the great Heath Foley.
Yes,
Oh
from the
my.
great Red Panda Association.
We accept your adoration, but not your disrespect. I love doing that voice. I don't know why. I call it the gay medieval jouster. I just imagine this foppish, over-the-top, homosexual jouster in the medieval times saying ridiculous things and hitting on people, and it's the funniest thing in the world to me. I don't know why. Just this dude walking around going, so Ulrich, that's quite a rusty codpiece you've got there. Mind if I polish it up? Ah, marvelous.
Sounds like hedonism
Yeah, it
bot.
reminds me of the
I
character.
know, it sounds like hedonism bot. Jambi, get the finest of oils.
What was that, Al?
Oh, that particular voice reminds me of a character in one of my top 5 movies, Vampire Hunter D. There's this really creepy kind of MC for this nation of demons, and he trundles around on a unicycle and makes like kind of lecherous old man jokes, and he sounds just like that.
Well, I know if I ever stop drawing or my hands get lost in some kind of freak industrial accident, as I'm
Relating
going
to
to do,
gels.
I can totally slapping gels for days.
That's right.
I can do voice acting for Vampire Hunter D. It's a very niche market, but I'm pretty sure I can lock it down.
That could also be your Ren Fair character, anytime you go out to the Ren Fair.
I would laugh. I wouldn't be able to do it because I'd be laughing so hard at myself and watching people's reactions to me going up to them and being like, "Oh, mom," and then just like very waspishly, wistfully dancing away. Like
I can't imagine you dancing any other way, Heath.
you haven't seen me dance. It's like watching.
Yes, I have.
No, you've seen me drunkenly dance to some music while laying down in a bed. That doesn't count.
I can extrapolate from that.
Yeah, I'm a classic white guy dancer. Elbows in, hips don't move, just bounce around. That's all I do.
That's
Okay.
alright. There are worse things.
Google Hangout has totally gone off the rails. Talking about dance moves, slapping giant, ballistics gels.
This is the On the Lam podcast. Do you expect anything less?
Don't worry, our viewer, I'm sure, is thrilled.
Our viewer.
Hi, viewer.
Hi, Ray.
We at Red Panda Miniatures appreciate your viewer.
This stream is made possible by people like you.
A viewer like you.
By a person like you.
You, a viewer.
Emily, this is my favorite one right here.
He's so happy.
So happy! Look how happy he is.
I kind of is he like? Does he got his mouth open to catch whatever is going to fall off the tray from that waitress?
He's just happy to be here.
He's having a good time.
I really want one of those gels to be eating a bowl of soup just for trying to understand how a bowl of soup would work inside of a gel.
This one's got his head down on the table like he's passed out, but he's like absorbing the plate of food.
Oh my god, I love that picture so much.
That'll be a fun one once you get to the finishing stages of it.
Yeah.
Although
Hi, Tom. I'm glad you're enjoying this.
rendering a bunch of gels with a shiny kind of reflective texture on them in a complicated environment scene.
Oh my gosh, it's a nightmare.
Oh, just gloss coat them.
Just gloss coat him. Yeah.
All I'm going to say is just make sure there's a lot of soft lighting coming from above and then just freaking wing it.
Go for it, yeah.
Professional advice from Heath, wing it.
Yay! Go Team Heath.
I think if people actually knew how much I didn't go in knowing what my plan was, they probably would never hire me.
Now, Heath, you went to, did you go to Savannah? Or,
I went to SCAD in Savannah.
What's your opinion? Like, what was your experience there? Did you like it?
My experience, at least within my major, is the only one I can really share because SCAD is very high school-y and cliquish, and if you are outside of like the cool majors, you basically are seen as a nerd, and then your opinion of them from the other side is tarnished. So I will only speak of my major. I was there for sequential art, which is comic book art, and my education was spectacular.
Really?
I learned so much. Like, literally, they break you of really bad habits. You really start learning your style. And if you are a hard worker, you are willing to actually listen to what they have to say and work on your own style and not take everything personally, you will grow exponentially by the day. That being said, it is a very expensive art school. There are plenty of books and lessons and different ways to learn sequential art and comic book art, and it really comes down to training and practice. The advantage of SCAD was I had a professional who worked in the industry literally staring at me saying, "You're doing this wrong or you're doing this right." So while I enjoyed the ever-living hell out of actually being there and learning and going to college, I'm not sure how much I would recommend it versus actually getting real industry experience.
Sure.
But like if it's someone that's literally going fresh out of high school, wants to do art, yeah, it's a great way to do it. Be warned, the job placement rate is garbage, and you're going to have to work really hard for years afterwards to get a job in the industry, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I know. I often tell people I went to Grand Valley State, which is not an art school exclusively. It has a strong art program. I didn't end up going through it because I was dissuaded from it. When I first entered the art, or when I first entered, I met with an advisor, and he told me like, oh, if you want to go for like comics or anything like that, you're never going to get a job. We don't want you to be a part of our program, but we can teach you to be a graphic designer, and you can develop pamphlets basically. And that just so soured me on the whole experience that I was like, well, whatever. This is obviously not for me. So I went into writing, and it's weird because now I do art, but yeah. So I got a writing degree, and I kind of feel like that was sort of like, I don't know. I learned so much more from reading books about writing than I did even from any of the courses that I took, and actually like writing, you know. And I'm
Yeah,
sure.
She means like after school, just picking up books that she liked. She's
from
not learning at school.
from what I can understand, because I've got a buddy who went to Kennesaw State for video stuff, real life application of things. Like you can learn theories, you can learn how to write, you can learn how to draw. Actually doing it, getting in there, like SCAD was great as far as getting a proper structure
Mhm.
or beginning to end. So I learned how to draw technically really well. And in my major, I learned how to draw comics and tell a story visually. But all the stuff that I needed to become a professional, I learned on my own. I learned
Right.
how to color really well just from watching videos and practice. I learned how to draw characters from just repetition. I mean, I've got 500 plus under my belt now in the industry. It's just about getting out there and trying to freaking do it. Draw what you like, do it at a really high quality, and see if people will hire you to do it. So I'm sorry that you went to a place where they dissuaded you.
It's
That's
okay. You know, I don't regret any, like, because I learned how to write, because I went in that direction, I think it did help me in other ways. Um, but at the same time, you're right. I mean, the job placement rate, I know it's hard to be like, you want every college professor, every like director to be like, pursue your dreams, chase the rainbows, whatever. I think that can sometimes be sort of damaging advice too, though, in certain ways, because
great.
it can fundamentally not prepare you for, you could spend like $100,000 on your education and then get out and find out you can't get a job
That
and you have to
was
work at Walmart.
that was one of the biggest downsides of SCAD is that I was in the top 5% skill-wise in my major, and that's not being egotistical in the slightest. That's just it was the truth. Is that me and a small elite group of other people were talented, and we all hung out together, and we all talked, and I didn't get into it until my junior and senior year, which was tragic because I wish I had more time with those people, but. I learned very quickly that getting in there and drawing every day was good, but as far as actually getting praised, SCAD is really bad about that. Is that while you were there, basically they say if you keep a B average in your major, you can stay in, but if you break that, then you get kicked out. That's bullshit. If you
Oh,
have
wow.
money, if you have money and you are willing to pay and throw out some tears if you're getting a C average, then yeah, they'll keep you in.
That's the
They're
same how Full Sail was.
yeah, it's a private institution. They're there to make money. It's just
Mhm.
the truth of it. And they've been doing it since the 70s, and they're going to continue doing it. I got a great education because of my teachers, not because of the school.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so being, oh God, sorry, I'm just stuck on you going to a school that is saying it's good of them to a degree to say, oh well, we don't do comic book art here, but we can do graphic design if that's something you want to do. versus, oh, well, we don't do comic books. We don't want your kind here. Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah. And there's a lot of egos in college. I mean, there's a lot of egos anywhere you go. But I feel like especially in the college atmosphere, there's a lot of elitism that kind of goes along with that. And it's really easy to run into somebody, especially a mentor figure, who can think that they have all the answers, and they really don't.
Well, also, you got to remember that sometimes in these colleges, it's literally people who have to give advice and filter people every single day, all day. Like that's literally their job, is to tell people or dissuade them, like, hey, you shouldn't be here, or you should be here. This is what you need to do, and it just becomes a mechanical process. That job placement rate, that was such a huge lie. They said 86% job placement rate.
Oh.
And we went there believing that.
Well, do they mean in that field, or what pay rate do they mean?
Well,
no, they mean just within your field, you have a job placement rate, which in truth, that number represents any and all jobs, like people who are employed after college, period, at a Best Buy or a freaking Wendy's.
Yeah, that's what part of the problem the Full Sail's thing had too, was their job placement rate was considering Blockbuster as working in the industry.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew you'd like that, Patrick.
Yeah, I did Blockbuster for 12 years. So, and 10 of it was at corporate, at the help desk, but still, it's like that's the ass end of the entertainment industry. That's not like being in the business. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I remember going up to Georgia Southern one weekend to visit a friend of mine that went there, and literally we went to a Blockbuster, and there was a student there, and I was wearing my SCAD shirt. They're like, oh, I used to go to SCAD, and now I work here. And they just looked at me like, don't let this be your future. And I remember sitting there like, oh my God, I need to get away from this human being. It was depressing, man. It really was. Not that there's anything wrong with working a job like that. Like, sometimes you just need to work a job to survive. There's nothing shameful about it. It's just after realizing that's what they meant by job placement rate, it was like, oh shit. At that point, I realized I had to work my butt off to actually get a job in any kind of industry. And it was actually good inspiration. Like, I don't want to be you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Honestly, one of the things that really, I've worked a lot of jobs in my life. The other day, I really sat down and I rattled off all the different jobs I've worked, and basically any retail you can imagine, I've probably worked a job there, just like seasonal or temporary or whatever. But it can be very soul-sucking, especially for creative individuals, I find. That it's great motivation for not ending up there,
Yeah, I've had 17 jobs over my life, and they've been in restaurants, retail, warehouses, school systems, the works. I've worked a pretty good gambit of the industry and or different industries, and I've got to tell you, the last job I had was in a warehouse working for Atlanta Public School System, and during their cheating scandal, that was cute. It was 95 degrees every day, no windows, so you have no idea what time it was. You just sat there and you sweat and you handled computer equipment, and at one point they told me the guy who handled it before me got fired because he didn't keep correct records of 8,000 pieces of RAM, and one went missing and he got arrested over it. And I was sitting there like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? It was at that point I was working with, I think I started working with On the Lam again, and just literally stayed up. Like, I worked 8-hour shifts in this warehouse and then would go home and draw for another 6 hours for them and fall asleep with my sketchbook in my lap. So that's the only thing at SCAD they didn't teach us is real world experience. You're going to have to work your ass off. You're going to have to bleed. You're going to have to struggle every single freaking day to actually make these creative dreams come true. Even then, when you finally do make those happen, you're not going to make a lot of money doing it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I really wish that during my Bachelor of Fine Arts, I could have gotten a degree in business as well, because I learned really nothing about being a small business owner.
Yeah. I wish they had told me any of that shit. That would have been great. I'm in the middle of a freaking Kickstarter. Just now,
Right?
that numbers are magical. God help me.
Full Sail had a business class that I ended up not paying much attention in, and I do kind of regret that. But, you know.
Like, part of me is like, I'm a creative soul. I don't need to know numbers. I just need to draw cool shit. And then I was like, nope. I need to know how to negotiate a contract.
How do taxes work?
Scream at someone if they're late with payment, or be screamed at if I'm late with art, or run a Kickstarter and know the numbers so that I'm not getting robbed blind by the end of it trying to produce a product. Like, it's freaking ridiculous.
Well, Heath, the one thing I can tell you about Kickstarter's numbers is that it will always cost you more than you ever think it will.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I understand that going in. Oh.
Yeah, and you want to be modest, and you want to ask for less, but then, no.
With this, I was like, should I ask for like the bare bones of what I think I'll need, or should I actually like go for broke and get the full amount that I know I will need for changes and stuff? And I was like, that just answered itself. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw your Critterkins Kickstarter go up, Patrick, and I saw like the actual base goal numbers for it, I was like, oh shit, how's he doing that number? Mine's like twice as much as that. What the hell? I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't have to pay a sculptor.
Yeah, well, actually, I do. I do have to pay a sculptor because
True.
the amount of time that I spend on sculpting those pieces, you know, it's like, well, I'm having to turn away other work, you know, so it's like I've got to replace that somehow. So the price of the sculpt has to be factored into it and all this. Now, where we are saving a little bit of money is on the back-end production a little bit, because rather than having to, well, okay, like with your situation where you're doing all your own designs, okay, but yet you're having to contract out for sculpting, for printing, and for, you know, mastering and molds and all that type of stuff. We're kind of saving some steps in there because we are doing it in-house, you know. So, you know, we're making our own molds and doing our own castings and stuff. So, and since I'm sculpting them and not really having them digitally printed, I'm saving a little bit of money on that side too. So, but yeah, no, we did try to take into account, you know, paying ourselves for the funding goal and all that, for the amount of time that we're going to spend, not only just in the production of it, but also the post-production, which is, you know, packaging the orders and, you know, shipping them out and doing all of that, you know, kind of administrative type of stuff too. So we needed a little bit more, you know, to kind of cover that stuff. But if you don't take that stuff into account, you know, you kind of wind up, oh, well, now I've spent all of this money on, you know, just the production cost to have the pieces, you know, produced, but yet I've spent all of this time and I haven't been compensated for it at all, you know. And so, you know, offering like a bunch of, you know, free, free add-ons or, you know, overextending stretch goals or, you know, any of that. That's where a lot of people get into trouble, you know, with their projects is overpromising on stuff that it's like, well, you didn't take in the hidden costs into account, you know, and all that. And I'm terrible with that. It's like I don't do numbers at all. It's, you know, Vicky's the one that she builds all these projects and does all of the, you know, crunches all the numbers and does all of that kind of back end stuff, you know, to make sure that, you know, they do work and, you know, we can at least, you know, cover the stuff that we need to cover and all that. So.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest challenge up front was numbers.
Yeah.
What do I need per mini to be able to make this work? What do I need to compensate costs? Then try and figure out if there's shipping issues. I want to make sure there's a little on top of this to make sure I can handle that. Also make sure that certain goals are a little bit bigger than they should be because people may even though they may back the campaign, that's not a guarantee that the money's going to go through. Because they're human beings, they have credit cards, they may have forgotten.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We've had about 10% a 10% drop rate on our backers pretty consistently.
That sounds about accurate.
Yeah. However, on Critterkins, we had one person that dropped.
Really?
Out of So for 200 backers on that, I was expecting about 20, and we got one. So it was like, okay, well, that's pretty awesome. That to me, that's like people keeping up with it, and they conscientiously knew I want these things. It wasn't just like, oh, here's another Kickstarter I backed, and then they kind of not, they didn't, kind of follow up with it to see, oh yeah, my stuff's current or whatever.
Can you imagine for something like Massive Darkness, Simon's new Kickstarter, where it's making like $3 freaking million or more? I don't even know where it's at now. Can you imagine losing 10% of that? $300,000 gone.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
It's easy to drop stretch goals. It's like, well, that relocked a stretch goal or two. It just depends on, it's like, well, we didn't get the funding to produce that because, and I've had to actually go out, on some of our updates and say, hey, we were close to getting this, but we're not going to be able to produce this thing unless you guys, come in and cover your pledges on it, or whatever. So.
Oh, I just realized my entire Kickstarter lies in like. It lies within a boundary, a margin of error for them. Like on one stretch goal, they're probably like, we probably don't need this, but let's just make it $6,000 more. Get it in 3 seconds, just blinking. It's okay. Not the right way to think. I am not Simon. Let me rephrase it. We are not Simon.
We are not Simon. Yeah.
We here at Red Panda Miniatures aren't Simon.
Neither are those of us over at On the Lamb. Nobody is Simon. Simon isn't Simon.
Yeah.
I might be happy with how this is starting out.
Oh, your dice tray that you're working on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
really cool. I like it.
Yeah, this is
That's
Tectonic Crab
so
did this
nice
for us. Which we're doing for our events at Gen Con. We've got a bunch of them for prize support, and that'll be the only way that people can actually get them is by playing in our events. And then I have 2 of these for our demos.
Which is convenient because I've run those demos and those things bounce everywhere.
Oh yeah. I've been really, really, really tired of dice just flying out into the aisles and whatnot. So
it's not like standing up and talking and interacting with people for 8 hours a day and shaking hands isn't exhausting enough, but then having to bend over every 3 seconds to pick up a dice that went awry, like, nah, son, I'm not doing that. Homie, don't play that game. Like, I'm turning 30 soon, and I make a lot of jokes about old age, but like literally, I sit in a chair 15 hours a day. My back can't handle that.
Oh, you're just a puppy. You are just a puppy.
I was gonna say I can't wait until I get.
See all this gray hair right here? Yeah. That's what you got to look
You
for.
might be the youngest
join our
person on the stream, Heath.
Yeah. Patrick, I can't wait until I get gray hairs. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's gonna look distinguished.
Right. Yeah. I just want to be crotchety. I just want to.
You are.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
I just imagine you be like, God, this goddamn weather, and like it's not happening, Patrick.
Yeah.
You're too nice of a human being. You're too pleasant. I can't imagine crotchety Patrick Keith.
Oh yeah.
Bad
That's
scene.
because you haven't been here in the studio during the day. See, that's there's a whole nother side to this. See, this is me talking to the public.
I can attest to that.
Right there. Oh, I'm Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Sculptor. So.
It's okay. I feel like I feel similar to a degree. We did a hobby hangout with Elizabeth. I popped in on hers after the fact, and my computer freaked out, and I let out a bombardment of F-bombs. It was bad. It was a bad freak out because I thought my computer died, and I came back and I thought that the stream had ended for me and that my microphone was off, but they heard all of it.
Yeah.
And I literally had to come back and be like, "I'm sorry, I'm a monster," and just literally made you all scared. You saw some of the actual rage.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It is past noon now, so we're gonna wrap things up. Why don't you all show off what you're doing? Patrick, go ahead.
I don't know if can you see that?
Yeah, looks like a Viking blue.
That's Viking blue, and then I've got Viking green here. So she's not attached. So, but yeah, she's almost done. I'm putting the gloves on her next, and then I just got Viking red out of the oven. So I'm going to go and work on his sword, and so, and
Awesome.
I'll send you pictures of that once they're all wrapped up.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Alex, how's Terminator running?
Pretty good.
Terminator
So,
foo-foo.
I strengthened up. It's so hard to see because again, wire. But I strengthened up some of the legs, and next I'll be working on doing some of the arms. Trying to work on the platforms for the feet. So hopefully I'll be able to start stuffing it soon.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it come together even more. It already it's looking really good. I love those eyes. That was a great job.
That thing's gonna be in the booth, and I'm gonna keep looking over my shoulder like.
And Heath, you have nothing to show because you were a complete slacker this entire time.
I just funded a Kickstarter.
I just
Screw
funded
you.
a Kickstarter. You're going to have that on your shirt. I'm Heath Foley, and I just funded a Kickstarter.
I funded a Kickstarter.
Buy my Wander Minis.
You need that shirt that Justin has, the I survived my Kickstarter.
Yes.
I do. It is anxiety-ridden, and
Welcome
Yeah.
to the club, brother.
plus you already showed off 2 things I worked on, Em, so we're good.
Yeah, I did. That was pretty awesome. Which I'll go ahead and show that off again. The
Oh
make sure
no!
to come by at the booth at Gen Con number 463 to pick up your Reign of the Dragoon and her Endless Fantasy Tactics card.
I need one of those.
Well,
Several of those.
I know that you'll be there.
Yes.
All right, and Noah, what have you got for us?
So, yep, we started with nothing, and now we're here. So I worked out the general layout of the piece and how things are going to go, and then I worked out the slimes and kind of like how their designs were going to work out. And now is the fun part, so here we have our soup floating around in the sky. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's a chicken leg in the sky on the left over here, and then I'm looking forward to this guy just sort of like, you can't tell if he's passed out on his food or if this is how he's trying to eat it by just being...
I love all their hats. That's so great.
I need an avatar of the one with the arrow. I need an avatar of that.
This one?
Yeah,
God damn it, I love it so
He's
much.
so happy looking.
yeah. I'm really gonna have to get you to isolate these and
See,
Sure, yeah.
the one with the arrow in its hat, I want it to have a guitar and look like it's about to start well, and keep going like a monkey tongue.
Well, I do really like that the loot on the Warbler is visible through him as well.
Yeah, okay, I was hoping you guys would like that, yeah. So that you can kind of, hopefully it reads well when it's finished. But, yeah.
I think it will.
There we go.
I'm
So,
excited to see that thing
so
finished off.
cool.
Alex or Andrew,
Well,
whatever your
I
name
don't
is.
have terribly much, I guess. Clean my brush here. Well, first off, I have the Behemoth. There. The one big thing I'm not sure on is that Bighorn, because I can't figure out how to blend it right.
Mhm.
But the back ones probably just need one more layer to sharpen them. And then we have the Twin Batsus, who I put a little more detail color on. If I get them on the camera, it'd be fantastic. But one of these days, I'll get a camera that's, set up right and not in hypercolor.
Mm-hmm.
But I started putting on, like, I did the little gem. I put on their secondary armor colors. Slowly but surely starting to break out of solid metal.
It's looking pretty good.
Yep. And then once I matte coat it, it'll look completely different.
Yeah.
I play bricks.
Get that out. Oh.
We love you, Vicky. And I got my little dice tray.
That's awesome.
Still on it, which I'm happy with how that's coming out. This is making me want to have Rinoa and Heath do like a coloring book or something of endless art.
Yeah.
Do it.
I was gonna say that's something Soda Pop does, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't be too hard with some of the line art we've got.
Well, that should be it for the OTL livecast. Thanks to everybody who stopped by. We won't be doing another one of these until after Gen Con. We might do something at Gen Con. I doubt we're going to do like an actual camera stream because I don't think I'm not going to bring a camera with me. But we might do like just a podcast or something because we'll have everybody there except Patrick, who doesn't come to Gen Con anymore.
I don't do Gen Con anymore. They made me mad. I'm not going back. So
That's fine though. We'll get you in here again next time we do one of these streams.
yeah.
You'll be done with the models by then, so.
They'll be finished. Yeah. As a matter of fact, like I said, I'm hoping to be able to get that dragon to you to where you can take it with you. So.
Well, thank you everybody for stopping in and joining us, and I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast.
Bye.